it's all the same.
I'm good with poop.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's okay.
And we're live.
I'm over it, man. It's fine.
I can smell something good coming there.
He said, "I'm good with poop." Like what?
Good with poop.
I just got over it. You know. I mean,
Wait.
you do
so
you.
hold on. We have fathers here. Have you literally been just rained on with poop before, like thrown at you? Not like just changing diapers and things, but like thrown at you. Have y'all been?
Not
I've been
thrown
peed
at.
on.
Peed on, puked on. Never thrown, but I've been pooped on. Yeah.
Okay. You've been pooped. I mean, I've been pooped on, not by a child, but in fantasy football for sure.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were going someplace else with that.
Yeah, I was a little worried.
What are you guys doing down in Austin down there? Huh?
Gabe unleashed
on
his
it.
secrets tonight.
He's got these music
Look, I'm
videos
just
on the
trying to
dark
get the
web.
good intro, man.
Yeah. He brought that back
man.
over from Europe a couple years ago.
I haven't been here. I haven't been here in a couple weeks. I'm trying to get this fire intro off.
Drip, drip, drip. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, at the I guess just sheer nervousness of sharing this with you guys. I remember one time, I can't remember which daughter it was, if it was the first or the last, but essentially I was changing a diaper, and it was very early on in, like, I don't know, probably in the first 9 months, and legitimately she, there was a fart, and then there was action behind that fart, and it actually legitimately shot, and I had to jump out of the way. It literally shot all the way to the wall behind me. So literally there was a trail of poop from the bed to the wall of where she tried to take my life. It was absurd.
Take your life.
If you're a father, you probably have those type of stories. Gabe, not being a dad to this point, I don't know that you've had to jump out of the way or dodge artillery, if you will, dodge rounds.
I mean, I got 130 children every day, but I sure as fuck hope they are never, ever going to shit on me. Verbally is fine.
Not in that sense.
Verbally is fine. Wow, J Mike, wow. Lots of
I'm just
people have
saying.
been shit on more than I've anticipated. What about Pete? You? Any shit? Been shit on?
Yeah, I'm shit. It's good. What are we talking about? No, my kid, like one of my kid was an expert at peeing around his diaper. Like he could literally just piss on you. Didn't matter. He went around it somehow. I still don't understand the physics of it.
Wow.
Another one was pretty good at timing it. So that every time you took the diaper off, that's when they went. That was pretty fun. And yeah, beds, walls, the lot. Kids like to shit on things, man. That's what they do. So do we. That's why we play fantasy football, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's just such an easy segue, you know?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Natural. That's why every podcast always starts this way.
Yeah. I think why aren't there more shit metaphors to start off a fantasy football podcast?
Exactly.
And speaking of that fantasy football podcast, we are indeed live. It is the open bar. It is me, Gabe, the bun. It's up tonight. I am not FF hair down. All right. I'm here for business. I'm not ready to have a good time. I don't do that here. I'm hoping that no one else will be doing that either. But I am here with a very good pal of mine, my partner, J Mike. How are you tonight?
Bro, today, what a day. What a day. I'm grateful to be here. Didn't know if I was going to be able to make it with this obviously back to school's in session. So the kids are bringing home all sorts of gunk, and in nursing them back to health, here I am, coughing, dying, hawking up nastiness. And fighting off fevers and stuff. But here I am. Here still I rise. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Week 1 can't hold me down. You know why? Hashtag Sammy season. Yes. Let's go.
So
Let's go.
I'm watching these games this week. First of all, how many flu games do you have like a year on this podcast? You're a fucking machine.
At least 2, at least.
Yeah. So watching the games and, first and foremost, watching our Jaguars do. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but considering Sammy's season, but I'm watching and of course everyone's adding you and I'm thinking of you and thinking of our Jaguars and thinking of course all at the same time. But I don't think Sammy Watkins was the only tout that you are, religious to that did enough at least to talk about. Care to share any get your flex off, my man.
Listen. I don't want to brag. I don't want to, FF humble over here, But,
FF humble. Fuck, that needs to happen on Twitter because geez.
FF humble flex. So hashtag John Ross season. Give it to me. Hello, John Ross. Welcome. You finally have a good coach that will actually leverage you. Don't you shake your head, Suge. Don't you do it. Hashtag Rojo season. I saw my man do work. He was legitimately trucking people. Not sure if you guys saw that or watched that game, but he was running through tacklers. I don't know if it's the extra cheeseburgers that he was eating this offseason or if this is just something he was waiting to do until Jameis was on his last leg. But, man, it was a good weekend for the hashtag brand aside from Duval going down to Kansas City. But if they're going to go down, you might as well go down in a blaze of Samuel L. Jackson Watkins Lizard Man glory.
I mean, what have we been doing for the last, what is it, 5 years, 6 years with old Sammy Biscuits? Gee whiz, about time you give us the gravy, my man.
Sammy Biscuits, I like that.
So is it going to be Mecole Hardman season after this? Is this all that we're going to get? Is this his equivalent to Amari Cooper from 2019? I'm frightened.
This you're watching the Phoenix resurrect as we speak. We can just start calling Sammy Watkins Jean Grey, and we can just go from there. Sammy Watkins is an X-Man. Mecole Hardman, he can be like Storm or somebody off kilter like that. Gambit, I don't whomever, somebody like that. Maybe even Rogue. You can give him Rogue perhaps, but
right.
Yeah, that's just what I'm saying.
Okay. So still standing strong behind him. We are live here, by the way. We got people in the chat already. Zach, it sounds like the television went fuzzy during the Tampa game, or at least during the Rojo game, or the Rojo carries rather. And we're gonna have to watch the tape back, huh, Pete? Segue into one of our guests tonight. These are all vets, man. This is easy. We can just slide through. They don't even have to talk about themselves like our guests are usually doing to open and close shows. Like, goodness gracious, our guests are annoying, J Mike. But these three, they're probably just going to go in and out, and we can just get right to the football. Did you watch the tape on Rojo, Pete? Nice to have you, man.
Of course, yeah. I've just been grinding tape really for the last couple of weeks now, as long as it's been out. And I got nothing for you, man. I'm just waiting. Like, I've been promised more data in like 3 months. Apparently, they're doing the collection of it over the next 3 months. And I'm just in a holding pattern until it all gets here.
Okay.
I don't exactly understand or know how they go about collecting the data for football, but looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to it. And Rojo sucks.
We're happy to. Oh, there it is. Oh, I did read that it was supposed to be the same timeshare going into next week's games. So we can't get too excited, J Mike.
I'm not gonna start. Listen, if nothing else, Sammy Watkins' health alone shows us that apparently, according to Twitter, you have to take the victory laps when you can. You can't wait for logic to set in. You can't wait for
Really can't. Really can't when you've got John Ross and Terry McLaurin offering you victory laps. You can't wait on that. Like
right now,
you have to take it right now. Like, get in where you can.
Yeah.
Hey, I took my DD Westbrook victory lap first half, and then we started piling up on the fact that Foles went down. I don't care. DD sucks. So you know what? I took my victory lap. I ate crow. I admit it when I'm wrong, but hey, you know what? DD still sucks.
I think we've got.
I don't care. He's going to be standing at his Hall of Fame ceremony. I don't care what you say. I don't care, man. He still sucks. All right.
Still sucks, dude. Sorry.
I think we had like 3 top 24 Jaguars wide receivers, and I don't see that slowing down.
I don't believe that. But
what say you, Peebles champ? Happy to have you on the show.
Happy to be here, guys. I want J Mike to sing the DJ Shark song again from the Blitz today. I really enjoyed that, man.
I'm just saying. Listen. If you haven't checked it out, and Gabe, I'll get this out of the way so you don't have to destroy me for it at the end of the pod. This week's edition of the Dummy Blitz gave a quick nod to my big brother Zach from the Dynasty Dummy, Zach Reed, on Twitter at TassinAssassin13. And DJ Chark, a little DJ Chark action to the tune of 4 for 146 and 1. I'm just saying, we can be as I don't know what the word is. Maybe prudent is the word. We can be as wise as we want to be about certain players, but just want to throw this out there. DJ Chark, there's a song about the man. There is life to the man, and he was, what was he, second round pick, Gabe? Second or third round pick? Mm-hmm. Chark. So perhaps, just maybe, we could be looking at the beginning of something beautiful with him and Minshew, and not to mention Chris Conley. What? I mean,
I'm telling you, 3 top 24s. That it's the Rams all over again.
Yeah. Listen, we're in Duval. We're dealing with the real Legion of Zoom. It's the real Legion of Zoom. All those guys probably run 4.3, I'd imagine.
Yeah. We can keep running the streak route and drop dimes like that. We'll be all right. Stompy, he did indeed say that DD sucks. The man who said it, his name is Tyler Belaski, host of the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. My friend, how are you tonight?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me on again. Third time now, I think it is. Yeah. We're doing it a little different this year. We're going to be doing it live, probably Saturday night, Sunday morning. I got a new job, so I don't know what my schedule is going to be like. So we're going to do it live, and we're going to tell it how it is. And we're going to tell it how it is that DD sucks, and that's how it is. John Ross, one-hit wonder. I don't think he's going to do it again this week. So, yeah, we tell how it is. That's how it is.
just real quick, Gabe. Let me interject for Suge T real quick, because he's acting like a real he's acting like a real Tyler right now, not like a Suge T. I just want to bring him back to earth a little bit. There were literally 2 wide receivers this week better in a PPR league than John Ross. One of which is the lizard himself, Sammy Watkins, and then the other was Deshaun Jackson, who literally destroys teams every single revenge game he has. That's what he does. So literally those 2, not Juju, not Hopkins, not T.Y. all up in your eye, none of that. Only John Ross was the number 3 spot. So you can say what you want to. The man got 12 targets. He's finally being leveraged by a coach who we hope can actually get the most out of this group. So yes, is this his one hit? Yes. But this is like, oh wow, look at Southern Realistic Cadillac Funky Music from Outkast. That was one hit, and then all of a sudden, an amazing career flourished after that. So, I'm not saying John Ross is Outkast, but maybe, just maybe, Maybe he's big boy. Maybe
More like Latoya Jackson.
there's a reach. Oh, what?
No, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with the Jacksonville and John Ross. They were playing from behind. Of course, they're going to throw the ball, but he's not going to be consistent. None of them are going to be consistent. So, yeah, you got one hit. You got 1 week. Let's see him do it over the course of the season. I don't see it happening. You got a rookie quarterback you got a rookie quarterback in Jacksonville who was supposed to be working at Home Depot or Lowe's this past week. So it's not going to make sense. No, they literally. I think they pulled him from like Home Depot or something. He was going to go coach. He was going to go coach like Washington State or something like that. So he wasn't even going to be playing, and they pulled him back.
I don't think it was quite that bad, Tyler, but it was bad. Kansas City's defense is pretty rough, but you still got to like the completion percentage and stuff. I'll help you out a little, J Mike.
I'm not one to argue. I'll let the facts speak for themselves. John Ross, wide receiver 1 currently, as is Sammy Watkins, and you can't take this away from me.
Oh, I have no problem with Sammy Watkins. I mean, but again, let's see. Like his history is horrible. Hopefully, with the Tyreek Hill injury, that's going to help him out a little bit coming weeks. And they do play Oakland this coming week, so he's going to stay up there. But the other guys, no, I'm okay with that. I'll give you Sammy because he's now the new number 1, other than Kelsey. But
it's just a matter of him staying healthy. It's always been health with him. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Man, but goodness, that crossing route and just that the moves he made within like 3 steps is just like weird. I've never seen that from him. I don't know. He looked different.
Made Jalen Ramsey look real bad. Bad.
This is not a film touting podcast, by the way. We just observe here and there
Whatever.
of players that move swiftly. Just how they look.
Gabe, here's the metric that you need. Sammy Watkins.
So long to talk about the fastest wide receiver in the league, then, if that's what
46.8 points this week. Okay. Wide receiver 1. Those are some numbers you can work with. 46.8 points. Wide receiver 1, player 1 on the week. That's all.
And he is that now on his team too. The wide receiver 1, considering the Tyreek injury. I don't see why he's not considered a top 10 option, and at least until Tyreek comes back. And even when so, what gives? Pete?
What, Gabe? What?
I said your hair looks great tonight, for one.
Now you're just telling lies. No, sir.
Can
player early on, I like zoned out when J Mike started talking about Rojo and someone else mentioned John Ross, and I was like, oh, all right, none of this matters. Cool. What?
This is J Mike's night. This is J Mike Appreciation Night. We've been waiting so long for Sammy, John Ross, and Rojo just to hit at all, and then for them to hit all at once on week 1. I mean, Rojo didn't necessarily hit per se, but he certainly impressed more than anything from last year, and just for that to happen all in week 1, J Mike, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud of you.
Listen, man, they grow up fast. All
the effort and the hard work you put into training them, and really get them ready for this moment. It was pretty impressive.
I'm
happy for you, man. It's nice when players hit.
Thank you. Let me ask you guys, though, what from week 1 perspective, what were some things, or what was a thing that you really enjoyed seeing? It doesn't have to necessarily be a player that you loved or someone that you touted, but what was something that you saw that you were like, yep, that's super encouraging to see?
Super encouraging, like from a fantasy perspective, or because you started off with something we just love to see, and that's kind of a different question. I was going to say Tyrell Williams being a wide receiver 1 for a team again was something I really like seeing. The fastest wide receiver in the league.
That worked.
He is. I mean, they tested it once, they proved it was him, and they never showed us any more data. So as far as I know, that's still true.
Yeah, from a personal standpoint, I actually liked watching the Bengals hang in there against Seattle. I just expected them to get blown out, and it was nice to see Dalton spreading the ball around, and I actually look like a decent team despite the fact that they have lost 4 linemen. But then from like a bigger perspective, boy, watching Deshaun Watson last night was one of the most fun things I've ever seen in football.
Wow.
He is just a blast to watch. Like I'm quickly becoming a huge Deshaun Watson fan. So that was a hell of a game last night, and just watching the way he just commands the offense, and I like the running and just everything. I really like watching him. Someone had tweeted that too, that he may not be the best quarterback, but he sure as hell is one of the most fun to watch. And yeah, that was a lot of fun last night. Kind of made the week.
Yeah,
Played all right.
For me, it was the old guys getting the job done. Larry Fitzgerald put up almost 30 points. D-Jack's almost 40 points. Tom Brady, he's 41, 42. They're getting the job done. And I don't know if they're going to repeat next week because, Fitzgerald, they went into overtime. But he's got that rookie quarterback. He's going to rely on someone older, more experienced. D-Jax was a homecoming game. So I think maybe they're just feeding the ball a little bit more. And Tom Brady, he probably will repeat because he's got Antonio Brown coming back and possibly Gronk coming in a couple weeks. That's what some of the people are saying. But yeah, just the old guys getting it done. The slow and steady, realistically slow and steady veterans out there just getting the job done, putting their head down. Mark Ingram going off for almost 30 points or so. So yeah, just the old guys doing it. That's why I was really impressed with that.
Ooh, can I also have another one, like 2 undrafted free agents being in the top 5 running backs? That was fun.
Hey, yes, sir. How about that?
Pretty
Who
cool.
were they?
Austin Eckler and Chris Carson.
Wow.
Especially on the heels of your Dynasty Crossroads episodes, the UDFA's matter. That was fantastic.
I'm not saying I control the NFL. I'm just saying there's a strong correlation. All right.
Now, there's what do you tell me? What do you tell me, Pete? There's causation and there's correlation. So you're telling me you didn't cause this, right?
Correlation does not mean causation.
Common misconception. That's not true. No. And you're welcome, Jake. I see he's in the chat, and this is the only way I get to talk to him. So I'll be like, I gave you week 1 for DK Metcalf. Like, figured you deserve that. Josh Jacobs too. Just thought I'd give you some nice presents. Week 1, like Jake hasn't been on the Crossroads now for about 3 months, and like this is the first week that I'm really glad. The amount of gloating that is going on in his house right now, where no one can hear. Like it was the old J Mike week, but it was the old Jake Anderson week as well. Like everyone he liked in this draft class did well. Kind of sucks.
A lot of the rookies did really good.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dwight.
Yeah, a lot of the rookies did really good. I think they were remarking on that I don't remember what I was listening to. I listened to so much stuff. How it was like a historic week for the rookies to all be that good. There was, I think, 4 of them had over 100 yards receiving. Yeah, it was just a different. You don't usually see that quickly. It was pretty impressive.
I think it was all the rookies that we didn't expect to be good either, which is all the guys that people hated on forever. And not saying that I touted them whatsoever, but just funny to see Marquise Brown and McLaurin and then the Sanders and the Monty just dead.
Tanked,
and
yeah.
Boy, howdy, is it gonna be interesting.
Yeah, they said it was it 4 wide receivers, 4 rookie, and usually, and not to say this isn't the case, but usually it's a case where people talk about how we're punting rookie wide receivers, right? We're trying to wait because we don't want them to come out the gate and stink up the place because it takes them a while. And then I think they said 3 different receivers were either at or above 100 yards, and somebody else was in the 80s. I can't remember who they were. But yeah, DK.
Yeah, DK was in 80, and then Hawkinson also went over 100. So that was the.
That was a nasty one.
I really think the second-year wide receivers are going to eat rookies this year. Like they're going to eat their lunch and just make you forget them. Like I did not like this wide receiver group. The ones that I like mostly did well this week. DK Metcalf was on the borderline, Jake, but he looked good. So did AJ Brown. I like Andy Isabella and N'Keal Harry, and that's about it. And everyone else is catching long distance variance touchdowns. But these second year wide receivers are all they're all doing well. It's the most likely breakout year in the second year, and they all were better in college, like a lot better in college. So, like if I'm gonna not overreact to week one, it would be someone's gonna make the 2014 comparison. Like everyone's tiptoeing around it. Like this isn't. I really don't think this is that.
For the rookies or the second year.
The rookies having an impact is going to remind people of 2014 eventually. But I really don't think this is that. I think we want these second-year wide receivers who got better opportunity this first week,
right,
and just struggled a little bit for one reason or another. But like even Cortland Sutton came out, did something. I still favor Sanders a little, but
I'm so
happy the Suttons were on that great.
No, I agree, Peter. I don't think there's a single wide receiver one will come from this class.
No,
there'll be a lot of wide receiver twos.
Maybe N'Keal Harry, maybe DK. DK looks like he's translating, which was the question. But yeah, I really think like Christian Kirk had 12 targets this week. Like that's the biggest story for me than rookies getting 100 yards. I mean, keep your counting stats, man. Keep your counting stats.
I mean, and looking at Jay, to touch base on the rookie wide receivers again. I mean, or at least Marquise Brown, particularly, was just incredibly efficient. Like, I don't even know what the fuck happened that game.
I think he was in for 13 snaps or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, how does insane. One do that? And AJ Brown, similar, didn't play a whole lot of snaps, but who did was McLaurin. And he was in those two didn't make much sense to me, but McLaurin for sure, just because of the opportunity that he had. That is something that I could see happening more going forward, just because of the opportunity, kind of just in a situation where it's difficult for him to fail, to at least have a safe floor. How good he is, not entirely sure yet, but it certainly seemed like a pretty decent first game outing.
Right.
I'm liking Metcalf out of Seattle. I mean, he was, I believe, a lot of targets way before even Lockett had a target. So I think Metcalf by the end of the year could take over that wide receiver one in Seattle if he keeps going the way he's going now.
Yeah, he's a good complement to Lockett. I like their skill sets opposite each other and stuff. Yeah.
What in the world, Tyler Lockett?
What? Seattle, man, come on. And Minnesota out here trying to be like a discount Seattle.
Yeah.
On the other hand, speaking of things that I actually might be able to, bring to the conversation instead of just vague English shade, like everyone's fading Pittsburgh right now. Like I think people are worried about all their Moncriefs and James Washingtons, and I'm not so sure it helps them, but I really expected their volume to drop this year, and it probably is going to with that wide receiver who will not be named for right now. Like their air yards, their opportunity game one, and I know it's a bit of a shootout, but we've got one game to deal with, which we do here. It was like on par with Arizona. Both of those teams looked like they're going to throw a ton this year again. And so if anyone's disappointed with players in Arizona and Pittsburgh, both of them look like good targets right now. So I think the volume's really going to be there.
I couldn't believe the sets they were using with Arizona.
Right.
I mean, just what?
Keyshawn Johnson got double-digit targets as a wide receiver 3 on the offense. It's
I mean, if 4 wide receivers are getting 80% plus snaps,
right.
There's no offense in the NFL that does that, and you obviously it's due to Klingleberry's unique offense that he's running here, and we'll see how it progresses. But yeah, a lot of air yards, that's for sure.
Hells yeah.
There's so much to unpack with what we just talked through. But I want to go back to one thing real quick. Specifically in Arizona, you can get a ton of those guys and probably not pay a ton to be able to do so. Like And they talked a lot in the chat about it. Christian Kirk obviously got the 12 targets. I think he was 4 for 32 on the day. But what was encouraging was the fact that similar to that week 3 game in the preseason, which I think maybe I put a little bit more stock into than probably I should, but I watched that week very closely, specifically, and in that game against Minnesota, we watched him. He didn't get the start, but the very first time that he hit the field, they threw a corner route to him in the end zone on his very first snap, and so we're watching a guy who they definitely want to. I don't know if features the word, but I think it's a guy that they want to definitely leverage. And if he's not that Kyler's going to be throwing it 50 times a game, but so many of those guys can be viable for you. Even Damiere Byrd, I really like the fact that you can go get any of those guys and probably pay under what they're likely going to be worth for the season. I'm super excited for Arizona. But with that said, something was asked in the chat. And shout out to everybody in the chat that's rocking with us. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, Tuesday evenings, never late. Always on time here at the Open Bar. One of the questions was asked, and this was one of my favorite probably questions that we've had, or that we're able to talk about right now. Jake Anderson, the executive producer of the Open Bar. What up, big fella? I hope everything's well with the youngster at home and the family and everything else. He asked the question: who's everyone's biggest buy this week? And Peter, I feel like this is just a natural transition into what you did in one of your leagues, and shout out to the FF Spaceman Dave, who sent me the link. He dropped the link to the league that you guys are in, where you went and bought Juju. Do you want to talk about either Juju or just what pushed you to go and buy him for this right now?
Have I bought Juju? Was there a trade I'm unaware of? I didn't think that was in the league I'm in with Spaceman. Is a thing. I got to go check now. Kind of excited.
Now I'm just going
I've done a few things. One of them was I did get Juju on one of my rosters. Oh shit! Yes, I have Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Wow. Yeah, I did not know that trade had happened. This is a live reaction. Yeah.
Tell us the trade. Tell us the trade.
Son of a bitch. That's a trade I offered forever ago, and that guy's, I think. I got to figure that out. Yeah, I'm not overly happy with it, but I'm not under-happy with it. I didn't realize I'd trade it. No, yeah, this is a hefty price. It's Josh Jacobs and Adam Thielen, and I do not remember sending that offer. Go figure. I guess I drink, and I'm unaware of it. I will say I've traded for him in 2 leagues now. Once I traded Austin Eckler for like a first-round pick and then a tight end, because tight ends are thin in that league, but I then flipped that first round pick with Stephon Diggs for Juju, and I thought that was a much better deal. Like, that was just before the season started, and that's kind of where I think the value's at. That one, I know I'm going to have to go bitch and moan. I'm not going to reverse it, but I'm going to bitch and moan by it, because that was a really bad trade. But Stephon Diggs in a first or something like that, if someone's become that far down on Juju, I really think he could be the dynasty wide receiver 1. By the end of the season, which presents a lot of value since everyone's nuts for wide receivers in Dynasty.
I like it, man. For me, it's David Montgomery. I'm still really high on him and what he could do in Chicago. When he had the ball, the few times they got the ball to him, he looked amazing. Just still forcing missed tackles like he did in college. So he's one I'm targeting pretty hard right now this week. But I really like the Juju take too, though. If I could get anybody skittish on him, I would target him in a heartbeat. But I think most people are going to hold on to him pretty tight. You got time.
I would try to shoot for either Chubb or Mayfield. Cleveland laying an egg for the most part. They're supposed to come out hot and heavy, and they didn't do anything. So I'm going to try to steal one of those guys from someone, and hopefully turn it around. But, as Dwight said, maybe a lot of people probably hold tight to him, but try to steal something from them for one of those guys. So I'm going to look at even OBJ. He did okay, but they're supposed to come out hot and heavy, blow up the world, and they got their world blown up instead. So give me one of the Browns.
That was an
What about you, Gabe?
the old Browns game.
Yeah, super.
We're saying a buy low or just buy in general?
No, just a buy in general, just a big buy for you.
Shoot, man.
I've got one loaded up if you want to think about it.
I was kind of intrigued by the Colts, that they were still good and competing, and Brisket, Jacoby Brisket. Lather that thing up, baby. Put some barbecue sauce on that. Brush it up. Give me a beer on the side. What is that? $12.99 for a half pound. Giddy up. Jacoby Brisket, baby. It's Jacoby Brisket season. Right? And TY's not dead. Mac's not dead, if that's your vibe. So, I mean, I don't know if that's I feel like people still probably don't believe just because it's not Andrew Luck and it was a game. I don't know. Or Paris Campbell. Go and get yourself some Paris Campbell if that's your thing. I know this rookie class of wide receivers, Peter, is elite in your opinion. So if you can go and get yourself some Paris, all right, I could fuck the world for 72 hours.
Peter, that look on your face.
I don't know what to say. One, that's the opposite of what I said. And two, Gabe has had a longer day than me. Good for you, Gabe. Let's go.
Yeah. It's a hip hop reference. They're always there.
I like that.
Who care?
I like that. We're few and far between. I am and I think you mentioned it earlier, Peter. Did you say something? Was it you that said something about the sophomore wide receivers?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I think a lot of those guys are going to end up being very undervalued. Maybe not Michael Gallup, because everyone all of a sudden is coming out of the woodwork saying that they're touting him, which I don't know that I heard a ton of that last year, but God bless you if you like Gallup, that's awesome. But a lot of those guys I feel like can probably be had for cheaper prices. So your Anthony Millers, whom I know Dwight and I are huge fans of. Peter, I think you mentioned him as well on your pod in terms of someone whose college profile was fantastic, and I think that he's still coming back, obviously, from being injured. So if you can get Anthony Miller for cheap, go make that happen. Sutton, who got a ton of catches late, didn't do a ton early, but it did work later. James Washington, all those guys, any of those sophomore guys, if you can go get any of those guys, that would be fantastic for you to be able to leverage that. But also Terry McLaurin, and I will be the first to say I am not a huge and wasn't a huge Terry McLaurin fan early on, but with his drum beat this 9-point scoring season, shout out House, with the drum beat that he had and the ability that he showed this week, golly, man, he could him and Trey Quinn. I like that tandem in Washington. But also one more guy I want to throw out there that I'm excited about, just moving forward in general. And I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this. But we saw my man Allen Robinson really be fantastic. We saw Allen Robinson,
dude. God.
Yeah, even with Trubisky doing his best Bortles impression, we watched Allen Robinson be fantastic. So if it's a case where, and I see you, Commish. He said he's selling A-Rob, which I would be happy to buy from you. Curious what the price would be there, but I'm here for Allen Robinson being the lead dog in Chicago on an offense that I think will get it together sooner rather than later.
Even if it doesn't, if it doesn't, then he's there to collect.
Yes, 100%. And I'm curious what you guys think about this group that finished this week, wide receivers 26 through 30. And listen to this list right here. Are these guys that you'd like at all? And I want to come back to the sophomore receivers here in a second, because we need to talk about Dante Pettis, because that's something.
Real
whatever's
power.
going on in San Francisco, we've got to talk about that. But this group, wide receiver 26 through 30. So these are points, literally 16 to 14 points last week. So we've got Calvin Ridley, Josh Gordon, Julio Jones, Tyler Boyd, Chris Godwin, and Kenny Galladay. Any of those guys that you'd be targeting at this point? Because again, that's wide receiver 26 through 30, and they gave you 14 points. Like it's kind of wild.
Yeah, all of them. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think any of those guys
what
are
is
taking it.
expected. That is a solid floor.
Yeah. What'd you say, Dwight?
I don't think any of those guys would have a dip in value though, just because of their 26 through 30 this week. I mean, all those guys are pretty. Yeah. I like the question on the screen though. Like that's a huge one for me because I've always been a huge Corey Davis fan, but I think I'm about out at this point, as long as he stays in Tennessee for sure. So.
Yeah, we need to talk about that. I know I brought it up here on our screen. In case you're not watching us live, I threw up a comment from the chat. If you're watching live, J Mike and I do that from time to time. If we think you said something interesting or funny, or just we want to troll someone that is on the show, anything like that. But other takes on those. What was it, J Mike? 26 to 30 or so between Howdy and Tyler. What do y'all think about those guys?
I'll take the first three: Ridley, Gordon, and Jones. You guys can have Boyd, Godwin, and Galladay. I want nothing to do with them.
So you don't
I
like
wouldn't even.
John
I
Ross,
wouldn't,
and you don't like Tyler Boyd.
No. I wouldn't even draft him. I wouldn't have drafted him. I'm not going to trade for him. I maybe even pick him up off waivers. But obviously, the first three, yeah. Gordon may take a little hit if AB does play. But Ridley, any of the Falcons, they just had a bad day. The bad day for the Falcons all around. But obviously, Jones is going to turn it around. He's still going to catch his 10 to 15 balls a game, 2 touchdowns for the season. But, yeah, the bottom 3, no. The top 3, yes. And you guys can have Pettis, too. We talked about him. You can have him.
Yeah, we're not going to find him between 26 and 30, though. So,
yeah.
I guess of that group,
You're saying 2 snaps? 2 snaps don't put you in the wide receiver 30 range? You don't,
Never.
Unless you're Marquise Brown.
Well, I've never liked Pettis, so you guys can have Pettis, so you guys can take him.
Yeah, I mean, amongst that group, Galladay is probably the one that I wouldn't go after. He's just still too high. The price that people ask for him is, I just can't do it. I don't know what to make of that offense right now. Like, I live in Michigan and was here watching the end of that game, and it was just. The Lions just don't have it together. Like I just don't know what to think of them. I think they have one of the most talented running backs in the game, and they don't know how to use them. And they just frustrate me. The whole offense frustrates me. So it's a hard pass on Galladay.
I think I'm with you.
Or just to throw it
there.
out there, maybe Kerryon Johnson isn't Saquon Barkley.
He's not Saquon Barkley. He's
in
talented.
Yeah, he's a top 24 talent, sure.
That's all we want.
That's
think.
what he's
and
getting.
they're not treating him as such, even
Right.
Yeah, can I get top 24 talent with top 12 situation?
No.
And I think the issue is that no, that's the thing. I think coming in, we were hoping that it would be that would be the case.
I know.
Right.
It's been driving me crazy for weeks now. I've been asking about this, and everyone's like, "It's because Kerryon Johnson is so good," and now it's the team's fault. And it's like maybe he's just not so good. He can make a situation top 12 because that's a Saquon Barkley level talent. Saquon Barkley can make the Giants a top 12 situation. Kerryon Johnson can't make the Detroit a top 12 situation. And everyone who thought he could was over their fucking skis, which is fine. We all have to go over our skis for players that we like, but we can't rewrite how this works to make up for the take. He's not good enough to change. It's just one game, so fuck. He's probably going to prove me wrong in about 3 weeks, so I better shut up.
Well, and you can account for the take too with guys that are currently top 12. That do we really believe that they are going to, keep this steady with Eckler, with your boy Carson.
With John Ross.
Carson might be more believable than Eckler, or maybe Eckler is, just considering the snaps and how he was used and whatnot, or Chris Thompson, Singletary. I mean, Malcolm Brown, all these guys that are top, 20 or so in running backs that I don't think we all necessarily believe in this situation more than we would with Carry On in Detroit. I mean, I don't know. I don't. I would still go Carry On over all of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, Carron's a good player in a situation where he should get volume, but it's going to be mixed because that coaching staff and that team has always mixed the volume up. They've always used more than one. But, I mean, you've got top 15 upside and, you know, with the potential of we can dream, right? But he's already been drafted far above that, which is the point. Like, we can't go back and change that. Which makes him a losing value at this point.
Oh, for sure. That I mean,
Right.
the price was too damn high in the start. I mean, whether you're talking dynasty or redraft, I think both were third round draft capital. So you're certainly not returning on that yet, and possibly not for a while. We'll see.
It's like one of the very few things that worked out to plan. So I'm like all about it. Like we can talk about TJ Hawkinson and just own the shit out of me if you want to. Make sure you got that beep ready, brother.
That shit was weird. All right, but before we've been hanging this on the board for too long, and Dwight's been wanting to talk about. He's just waiting to throw CD in the trash. He's ready to move on to an iPod, an iPhone, a shuffle, anything. He's done with.
What about a
CDs.
Zune? What about a Zune?
The Zune.
Oh.
Zune. The Legion of Zune. Dwight is ready for the Legion of Zune. He is done with CD. He is ready. Who is a part of your Legion of Zune, Dwight? Who's better than Corey Davis? Come on.
Good Lord. Like 90% of the NFL right now, it seems like.
Yep.
On the Titans,
Oh,
AJ Brown, Delaney Walker, Derrick Henry all out-received Corey Davis. I think just about everyone on the team.
Travis May was at the stadium. He caught more than Corey Davis. So yeah, we're all good. It's tough, man. It's tough to watch. I watched him at Western Michigan, just fell in love with his game, and I think he's immensely talented. It's just I don't know what's going on. Like I'd love to be a fly on the wall and see what happens behind the scenes. I just don't get it. And yeah, I think I would be out on him, but the problem is I don't think you can get anything for him at this point. So not
it's by Corey Davis season. If you're out on him, it's not your season, I guess.
right.
But yeah, it's painful, man. I agree. 3
He
targets.
sucks.
Oh, maybe he does.
He sucks.
I don't.
Definitely does not.
It was
I'll
against
tell
the
you what.
Jags, right? It was against the Jags. Like, just am I forgetting?
No, Cleveland.
schedule?
Against Cleveland.
Against Cleveland.
Right.
I'd actually rather
He
have
had pretty
I'd
good
ra-
coverage all night. He got 3 targets. It's one game. That's all I've got. Like, I'm still in on Corey Davis, but it's painful at this point. It's really painful.
I'd rather have DD Westbrook than Corey Davis, and I don't like either one of them.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's bad. He's
Like
he
the
got a
Debbie
5.
Downer.
He got a 5 in the power rankings of Scott Fishbowl. Okay, I ranked him 5 because he's garbage. That's a little behind the scenes right there.
A little bit.
So if you drafted him, you got a 5. All right,
And a 5 is not good. In
5
the,
is not
in the
good.
Scroll,
5 is
in
with
the
a
scroll.
rookie.
Yeah, I
with the
was
scroll.
gonna say I don't think we know the scoring system.
All right.
Yeah, 5 is
All
not
right.
good.
We've said bad and terrible and nasty things. We get it. But if I could get my high horse just a little bit, like anyone who's projecting like a 25% target share to drop to 3 targets in game 1 in his 3rd season, you were joking. Like that, no one was making that serious of a prediction like that for realsies. Like no one's serious or knows what they're doing. Like it was unexpected. And he did improve in year 2, and he has a phenomenal volume, which is one of the best signs that a player isn't actually bad. So like it's going horrendously badly, but I'm still yet to see anything that proves he's bad. He's obviously been struggling. He's never really managed efficiency. Like I would take that over just I don't know he's bad. This was a tough matchup in week 1 with AJ Brown being a good talent on the other side, offering an easier matchup. Like I'm just still not ready just to go, okay, he just can't do it. Like last year was he earned the volume threshold last year that I think he's he's earned a couple of games in 2019 before I write him off. That's all.
I think it's just nuts that, you know, before this season and all summer, and I know it's only week one,
Right.
it's just very odd that the Tennessee Titans just lit up the Super Bowl. What Super Bowl are we on? 46, 5?
I don't do
know.
well anywhere else.
50, 53, 58. I don't know. One of those Super Bowls coming up. So beat the Super Bowl champions, allegedly. And before that, they were just being hated on so much that Mariota could not be a quarterback in the first place, let alone support a top 24 wide receiver, a top 12 tight end, have a top 12 running back
Or be a
behind
top
him.
12 quarterback like he was once.
Yeah.
And that
now,
continued
and now
all
we're
the way up until they turn the game around. Like all the way up until they turn this game around in week one. Everyone was convinced. I was getting more messages about how much does Mariota look like a value now, because I happened to say that this offseason. And then they turn the game around and suddenly, Mariota's now good. Corey Davis is trash. It's like,
right.
Like
So that's
5 minutes ago, you were all convinced Mariota was trash.
Yeah. So it's all these things that were being carried along the trash wagon, but Corey Davis is still here, but everyone else is fine.
Right.
Mariota,
Henry's good now.
AJ Brown, who played like fucking 30% of the snaps, whatever, and had a great game and did fine. But why would we leave Corey Davis behind if now we were not necessarily convinced, but at least have our eyebrows perked that maybe the Titans aren't that bad. Maybe Mariota has a fire under his bum to get an extension for 2 more years before he's a backup on the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know.
He's getting the raw deal like the first wife or the first husband, They're there with him through the poor times, through the rough times. They're there with him when they're sick, when they're striving to make it. And then they finally hit it big and they dump them, divorce them, get a new fancier wife. And everyone's like, hey, your new wife's awesome. Well, it's like, well, what about the first wife? He struggled through the Mariota injuries and the terrible game planning and the running it into the line over and over and over again for -3 yards. Like, can we not be that jerk who just divorces the first wife? Like, can we not just maybe appreciate that Corey Davis struggled through the bad times and now maybe it's a little bit better? Like, not throw him away. Like, he was there for us, man. He was there for us, producing solid top 56 wide receiver numbers for game after game. Just useless target after useless target. Let's roster respect him at least. Let's put him in the
hashtag roster respect.
Make it 2 bands out of a dachshund.
Like this is what it's come to defend Corey Davis. I'm talking about ex-wife.
You got that ambition, baby. Look in his eyes.
That's bro. Dwight. I literally have just been. That was going to be my next point. Was that Kanye already rapped about this?
Yep.
He said, and they're gonna keep calling and trying, and you stay right, girl. And when he get on, he leave your ass for a white girl. Like, it's happening. This is what Corey Davis is about to do.
Corey Davis.
Leave your ass for a white boy.
That's what the story needs to be.
That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. I just find it interesting because obviously they bring all these new additions in, but really, if and Peter, one of your pieces this offseason really made me do a lot of thinking about how I view. Well, it was the vacated targets thing, and that really made me think a lot about how I view someone's piece of the pie per se.
Right.
So obviously, Humphreys comes in and he only has 1 target out the gate, right? And obviously, we're dealing with super small sample size, 1 week. Humphreys comes in, AJ Brown comes in, and literally AJ Brown gets 1 more target, and he just so happens to get the completions where Corey Davis, in his instance, if you watched on his 3 targets, it's not that he's like being draped or anything. It's that literally Mariota just missed him bad. And so what happens if he's the one that's catching those same crossers that AJ Brown did and doing the work? And believe me, I like AJ Brown, love his route running savvy, love the fact that with the ball in his hands, he's super sneaky and really good. I just find it interesting how if he catches 2 of those for any sort of yardage at all or scores or anything, like this is a totally different conversation. But anyway, we can leave that alone. we can try to move on to something else at this point. What else do you guys want to talk about? I feel like there were several things in the chat that I
Pettis,
saw.
did we?
Pettis.
Yet?
Two snap Pettis.
You think
Is anyone
he's motivated?
Like the 2-pump chump, 2 snap Pettis. Jeez.
Like, man, I know
Hold up.
Shook T, you said
Y'all
you're
gotta
out, right?
watch the show for that shit to happen, man. Yeah, reminder that this show is live every Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern ish, and you may have heard the grunts from J Mike just now. You're used to hearing him sing so beautifully and eloquently, but my goodness, the grunts are indeed eloquent as well. Okay, so get in here live to see him do that again, and I'll probably just take the clip and put it on Twitter anyway. Go ahead, J Mike.
No, I'm just curious. I tweeted something out, but I don't know how heavy you guys want to talk about Pettis. I'm not the biggest Pettis fan, but I still think he'll be good. But is anyone kicking him to the curb at this point? Anyone excited about him? What are we seeing with Dante?
Okay, I'll talk again. I mean, fuck it. Everyone's tired of listening to me, but I'll do it again. Fine. He's someone that I'm looking forward to picking up off the waiver wire when whatever truther is holding him drops him so that I can kick him to the curb, if that makes sense. Like, I'm doing it with Josh Doxson a lot right now. It's cathartic for me. So, like, I guess you could say I'm ready to kick him to the curb, but I need the person to drop him first. If that helps.
Right. I'm not out on him, but I'm not seeking him out or anything. I think I would probably hold him. I'm a little worried about Jimmy G, honestly. Like, I don't think he's looked great. He didn't look good in preseason. He didn't look good yesterday. Yeah. I mean, Pettis is obviously talented, but I just worry about the role that he'll have there in that offense. So the guy, I'm not buying him, but I'm not getting rid of him. And I'm not, trying. I don't even think I'd pay a second for him. So, like, but just because I don't want him, like, I don't want to get him.
Right.
I think he's all right, but this is the one that Tyler's gonna watch.
That's what Shannon. I think that's what Shanahan says too, but he doesn't say it like that. He says he looked good on his 2 snaps.
Right.
He looked really good. He was doing work out there on his 2 steps.
Jeez.
Serious question, because I don't do a lot of quarterback evaluation, but has Jimmy G looked good for more than he's looked bad at this point? Like, I'm not sure how many games he's played that he looked good in. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, I know he looked
according
good.
to
Like, got excited, but I don't know if that was longer than the period he's looked bad.
According to SFBA champion and friend of the pod, friend of ours, Sam Lane, aka Stompy, Jimmy G has never, all caps, looked good. So,
all right.
So I agree with that. With that.
That's hard to say considering the man himself, the way he does.
Hey.
I mean, it's a statement.
I'm crazy about the sharp and red man. So I guess no is the answer.
Nice. Appreciate that.
And Shug, you're out. You're 100% out on Pettis, right?
I'm 100% out on all the 49ers, other than Kittle and possibly Coleman. That's about it.
Okay. And Coleman's got
No one
that
else.
high ankle sprain. So.
Might just be bad. I think this just might be a bad team by a lot of the decisions, but I was assured there were geniuses behind all of them, and I was like, okay,
Right.
I was excited to see the
Peter.
good like everyone else, but like at this point, can we not just say like they're bad across the board? They're bad drafting, bad trades. They've traded for players that haven't worked out. They've like nothing they've done's worked. Like it's all been bad, and we're pretty far in now to not see like this. Like everyone.
Right.
Stop!
John Lynch is one of my favorite all-time players.
I mean,
But yeah. Oof.
okay.
One of my all-time favorite players, but I don't think he's a good GM.
Dwight, you're saying John Lynch, one of your all-time favorites?
He's one of my all-time favorite players, but I just don't think he's made a lot of good moves as a GM. So, yeah, it's tough to watch because like Peter said, they keep selling it up, that Shanahan's all this and all this. They keep puffing it up, but maybe it's just not that good, and they've got some pieces, but yeah, no. It's rough. Not a great division either. So with the Rams and Seattle, and so it's gonna be a rough sled for the Niners this year.
So bad.
Shame.
It really is. Can I want to throw this out there real quick, Peter. I think that you may have a context for this to some degree. I was doing some research prior to the show tonight, and I was looking at just the wide receiver scoring in PPR leagues, and I posted a tweet just talking through how basically it took 24 points this week to be a wide receiver one, which is kind of bonkers. And I was on a website doing research. Shout out to Fantasy Pros, and I was trying to find, hey, was there ever a week in history where it took 24 points, like as a minimum, to get to the wide receiver one? And I did not find one year in the last probably 9 or 10 years where that was the case. And perhaps it's just the inflated scoring in terms of the passing and whatnot. But even when you look at the names in the wide receiver one group, like half of them, no, probably like a quarter of them belong and the other quarter don't. It's kind of gross. but of the current top 12, and I'm curious of your all's thoughts of the current top 12, excluding like Hopkins or T.Y. or Keenan Allen, because those are names that we're accustomed to. Are any of those guys possibly at all possibly guys who could stick in maybe not wide receiver one territory, but just in the vicinity? So like Sammy Watkins, obviously he's got an awesome opportunity. John Ross, Marquise Brown, Philip Dorsett, Larry Fitzgerald obviously is there. John Brown, DJ Chark, Jamison Crowder. What and 14 catches for Crowder? Like what the crap?
Seriously, he had more expected points than any of the wide. I'm just gonna stop talking.
No, don't. Gallup was a fringe. Gallup and Cooper were back to back, by the way, 22.8 points versus 22.6 points, 14 and 15 respectively. But is there anybody that currently is up in that stratosphere where you're like, hey, they might have a chance to give us a year that we did not see coming?
For me, Sammy's the only one, honestly.
Yeah.
As long as he stays healthy, I think in that offense he will be in the top 12. I mean, yeah. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Gabe.
I wanted to throw out the name Byron Pringle earlier, by the way, just in case you want to make another bet on the Chiefs really deep if you've got room. That's neither here nor there. I just forgot to say it.
Carry released them, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they picked him back up. They picked him back up.
Oh, did they?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
After Hill went down.
Peter's hanging on.
And
hanging on by a Pringle.
That's all I do, man. I just hang on.
And hanging on by a Pringle.
Right. Yeah. Literally.
And maybe in a PPR, Crowder, maybe. Because Gase did that to Landry. So, like, what's to say that Crowder's not that Landry type that's going to get 125 catches this year for, 900 yards and 3 touchdowns. But, it's in the realm of possibility. So, but I think T.Y. I mean, I know that is kind of he was going like a top 12 guy, but he wasn't once Luck retired. I mean, everyone had him down beyond top 20, beyond top 24, whatever. So I mean, if it's like this with Brisket, that could certainly keep going, and he appears his motivation score, Peter, which is now being recorded each and every game via players' tweets and quotes and things. His motivation score is very high going into the season, saying that he was dedicating this season to the aforementioned Andrew Luck, who is now retired.
Oh man, now I got to root for him. Oh,
yeah. I like Crowder though. I like Crowder could be nasty, man. man, the Robbie Anderson love was too lit this offseason, and there's no way that one Jets receiver could be trusted. And again, it's only week one. This is not what's going to happen, but it's certainly evident that it's not going to be obvious who the best Jets receiver is from week to week.
Is anyone really excited about Demaryius Thomas being a Jet now, or is that just a no?
Nope.
Big no?
No,
Okay.
he'll be cut back in week 5.
All right.
That's probably right. It's at least nice to see him reunited with Gase. It's just too bad that Peyton Manning has been retired for 3 seasons now. So
Right.
I think there's that.
Belichick just needed to trade somebody to the Jets to complete his all 32 team trade or whatever.
I saw that. That was cool. Let me ask you guys this, and Peter, this kind of plays on one of the things that you talk about or that you did some research on. There is one team, guys, and this is counting ties. So if a guy has like the same point score as someone else, there's one team that has 3 wide receivers technically in the top 24.
Jacksonville.
And that includes ties, not Jacksonville. Great guess. Didi
Jacksonville
messed
has
things up
one.
for us. He
I know, it
ended
was
up at
close
30.
though. I was looking. He was close.
Yeah. He was close though. There's one team. You guys have any guesses on who got 3 in PPR leagues? And chat, if you get this right, I'm gonna shout you out as well. What one
Wide
team
receivers?
has 3 wide receivers in the top 24?
It's got to be
including ties.
the Patriots.
Not the Patriots.
Oh, okay. I think I'm out of guess. I think I should.
Yeah,
stop guessing.
Julian Edelman finished at 20. He's 26th. Hey, Sam Lane. Hey, I see you in the chat.
I
What up,
didn't
Sam?
expect that. I didn't. So wait, Cobb
Right?
finished. Cobb finished top
Yes.
24.
Cobb had 16.9
Yeah,
points, which
Dallas.
would have put him again with the ties as wide receiver 24.
Okay.
How about that?
I was about to ask y'all, and because I had no respect for Cobb apparently, but is maybe we should have the question of can Dak support 3 wide receivers in the top 24, not just 2. My question was going to be for 2, because I think that for yes, Dak is that late round QB that everyone's been on a little bit, but he hasn't had a whole lot of QB1 weeks. He's just kind of been hovering around QB1. So can he support 2 wide receivers in the top 24?
Well, I
Hashtag
want
roster
to start with this
respect.
one real quick. Being a Giants fan, the 5 of us could end up in the top 24 receiving. The Giants couldn't cover anyone. So those numbers, I think, would probably be a little inflated a little bit. However, he could definitely support Cooper and Gallup. Cobb, maybe not every week, but probably about, handful of weeks every week. But those numbers are inflated because the Giants are horrible. Their secondary is garbage. Yes,
Right.
I said garbage.
He only had 32
Like I said,
attempts. He only had 32 attempts, and this time he only targeted Zeke twice, which has been, so can he support those 3 guys along with Zeke and also get Witten 5 targets a game? I don't know.
Weird thing is, I think all 3 have the talent. I'm not sure they're going to do it because it basically takes Peyton Manning to have 3 top 24 wide receivers. So I don't think it's going to happen. Like the Rams were the next
Or Jared
closest
Goff?
to ever. Yeah, right. Or Sean McVay. Let's just say it straight, right? Let's not lie to the people.
And Cobb was only
Kellen
top.
Moore, or whatever his damn name is, looks like he's pretty good, and all 3 players have the talent. I don't think it's going to happen, but honestly, I don't know who I'd right now. Again, go back to Gabe's point that he's the only one who's made that point. There's only been 1 week, but right now Gallup is the one that's getting the most opportunity, no matter how you want to quantify it. So Cobb looks like the most likely to fade, but just thinking history and skill set and where they work on the field, I wouldn't be more surprised if Gallup was more highly volatile and Cobb's more consistent. He's got the Cole Beasley role, and he is a lot better than Cole Beasley. So, I could see those 2 maybe. I mean, it's probably Gallup, but there's a path for Cobb to do it again. That's what I'm saying. And J Mike, I don't have enough week-to-week data to find the last time in a week someone needed 24 points to be a top 24 wide receiver, not without crashing this by doing play-by-play data. But I can tell you, like, a top 12 wide receivers average 17 points per game. So I would say it's extremely rare for top 24 to be the threshold to get into the top 12.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's a boom of a week. So I'm curious if that's the trend that we see moving forward, or if this was just an anomaly based off of some huge weeks by guys that again may not crack wide receiver one again in their careers, right? So we're dubious of John Ross and Philip Dorsett and DJ Chark and again Jamison Crowder getting 14 catches, which is bonkers. In that same game, and I'm sorry to bring up more bad news for you, Suge, but one of the guys that I was super excited to see, and maybe it's too late to try to go and get him at this time, and just in the Giants passing game, I'm a big fan of Evan Ingram. Obviously, he destroyed with 14 targets this last week. Someone else who I noticed in the preseason, and I got him in a few places because he was just free on the waiver wire. Cody Latimer. He had 8 targets on the week, and you could say what you want about it, but if he's going to be the second target getter, at least while Golden Tate is out, maybe he's someone that you can pull up on your team and maybe sell for any sort of price at this point until Tate comes back, because he was second in targets on the team. Just saying.
Yeah, he's going to be a great bye week filler for you. And Shepard's not going to play this week, most likely with a concussion. So yeah, fire. You may not fire him up, but I'd go get him. Yeah, I like him. I have him on a couple of my teams. So that's a great point. I like him. Obviously, keep him for a dynasty league. If you have dynasty, get him on your dynasty team. He's going to be there. Him and Daniel Jones.
I don't want to be negative, but I would not do that. Lattimore clogged enough rosters for a long enough time. I think there's real potential there could be trade value if he does get a few points enough to be a starter. So it's worth it from that perspective. So I don't entirely hate it. Can I just put a note in here? Could we circle around to Mike Evans at some point?
Let's talk about him.
Hear someone talk about that.
Go for it.
No,
you got first dibs.
I'm looking to have content provided for me on this. I think my track record, I'm complaining about Mike Evans' efficiency is long and well established, to the point that I actually ended up being the one defending him as probably not going to be, taken out by Chris Godwin. And week 1, it actually happened. Chris Godwin fully cut Mike Evans. And I'm just wondering if, anyone thinks that's going to continue, because I know it feels like a buy Mike Evans week, and I'm not sure that's ever happened to me before, and I don't know what to do. I'm assuming it happens to everyone at some point in their life, like most men, but that's what my wife told me anyway. But so I'm looking for some advice for people that have been there before, when you thought that Mike Evans was a good value. How did you operate? How did it work out for you? Is that a good idea? Should I do that?
What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I'd go after Evans. Why not? He's the number 1 on the team. He's
not at the moment. Actually, he's number. That's
wow.
That's good. Historically,
right now he's the number 4 on the team, literally.
I felt
then you can buy him cheap. Then you can buy him cheap, and then you'll be fine.
Is anyone worried the off-season narrative is going to come true? I mean, Scott Barrett made an argument for it, and he's pretty serious. He wasn't just hot taking. Is this the start of it? Does anyone think this is the start of that? Or
I don't.
No. Okay. I was just checking.
No,
I don't know. I mean, I'm just more worried about the Bucks than anything. Not necessarily.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't, watch the games, obviously, because, I'm a geek and stuff. But didn't 4 touchdowns get called back on offensive holding penalties? And is anyone really mad at Jameis Winston if he got 5 interceptions, which I think he did, and 4 touchdowns? Wouldn't it be more Jameis gonna Jameis? Jameis is gonna, he likes to throw it up there. He's a gunslinger. Oh, good old Jameis. Instead of screw that guy. I hate him. He's terrible. Which seems to be what it is now. It's like if those 4 touchdowns get scored, and OJ Howard is like strut walking around town, are we mad at Jameis anymore?
If he's not going to throw he needs to throw him first.
He did. He threw touchdowns that were called back for offensive holding penalties that he had nothing to do with. So that's what I mean. Like 4 of them, all 4 touchdowns got called back. I hear.
Cam Brate was going to be tied in 1.
With
a couple touchdowns. Yeah, they both got called back. DeMar Dotson had 2 holding penalties. It was awful. But with what we're looking at right now, and this is another one of those games that I watched intently because obviously for the Blitz podcast, but for just trying to figure out how the heck do we even operate leveraging Tampa Bay right now, because I feel like we're living in the upside down. So
right, yeah.
Chris Godwin leads the way with 6 targets. 3 other guys have 5 targets, and then Mike Evans, obviously he's sick. So the question becomes, okay, Jameis is obviously struggling. Mike Evans has consistently been someone that we can lean on as ending the year with, what was it, Gabe, 1,200, 1,300 yards, whatever it is. He's going to be someone who's going to, by the end of the year, give you the counting stats that we're hoping for and end up in a place that, you know what, I'm really happy I got Mike Evans. The problem becomes at this point with the new coaching staff now. It's another negative, even though we were excited to see Bruce Arians to be able to get his hands on Jameis. We're watching him still have his happiest feet. We're still watching him struggle under pressure. We're still watching him be erratic with the ball. We're still all the same things that we've not been excited about for Jameis. He's still doing the same things. And now we've got Chris Godwin being someone who, at least in this one game, and again, not sure the why behind it, but we're watching Mike Evans not get the market share. And I think, Peter, you mentioned this on one of your pods from the offseason. We're watching Mike Evans not get the market share that we want him to get. And so now I don't feel good about it, but he's also someone that has consistently, I guess to some degree, buoyed Jameis or Ryan Fitzpatrick for that matter, whomever's been in there. He's buoyed the quarterback play there. So I think he's still worth it. He's still super talented. And if you can not have to necessarily overpay to get him, great. But Mike Evans is someone I'm still excited about, even though Jameis has shown to be quite a bit inept to a large degree in many instances. So Jameis offers no excitement at all. He's frustrating to me, man. So frustrating.
If you're Mike Evans, do you ask for a trade out? Get out of there while you're still young and can still produce? I can't remember if he just signed a contract or not, but if I'm him, I'm asking to get out. I want out. Or bring in, I don't know. I'd want out if I'm Mike Evans. You're wasting my talent, and I want out.
That's valid, yeah.
See, I think Mike Evans' talent could use a little bit of reining in, frankly. I thought Chris Godwin was overall good for him last year. It made him have an efficient year, having someone else, and not just Evans, but Humphreys as well. Like Mike Evans just left to run roughshod over target share, has produced great fantasy numbers, which we love, obviously. But from an NFL perspective, it's been really bad. Like it's been inefficient. That's what inefficient means. It means you're not getting as much as you should. You're paying more than you're getting back. And so, Godwin, Humphreys last year, and Deshaun Jackson seem to, and this was what I was talking about on the pod, we seem to have seen the volume drop last year. He had less target share than he typically ever has. But he was really efficient on that target share, and it's one of his rare instances of efficiency. So I thought we'd seen the drop. Chris Godwin could fill into his own space, and Mike Evans could be efficient with high volume, and we could get the benefit of both. In other words, this was the argument for both of them. Mike Evans would stay at 12. Chris Godwin was going to be a really good top 24. That was a theory. And week 1, it's kind of like, no, actually, it's just Chris Godwin. Like Brashad Perryman hasn't many targets as him. And what was it, Gabe? Week 2? I forget. We're 2 weeks in now. 1 week in. Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. We're only 1 week in. So we don't know yet. But like, I was interested to hear, like, J Mike broke it down really well there. I don't.
It's 1 week, and it's 6 targets to 5. It's not like it was 15-4,
Right.
and Evans was sick. He probably had Sherman on him most of the game.
Yeah, but I
I'm
said
not
the same thing about Corey Davis as well. That's kind of what I was saying about Corey Davis as well. But exactly, it's just a little worrying. There was a clear distance between Godwin and the other players who got the same kind of volume that Evans did. I don't know. Thanks for weighing in. I'll shut
I
up.
see what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
I would agree that, in all hopes of ours, even yours, Peter, just for the sake of a human, you don't want him. You don't want him to be sick out there.
No.
Catching footballs, man. What if it was just the flu game? But that back to the trade that could possibly, of course, happen, but also maybe not. And it looks like J Mike's putting it here in the chat. That extension was just signed this year, the 5-year, which would be interesting if he was already hitting the trade button. But I do certainly think that they might suck, and they will just have a different quarterback next year. But man, they just sure, the touchdowns were called back, but even if they were, completed, then Winston himself was incredibly efficient because they didn't throw the ball at all. It was just a very weird game, and it did not seem Arians like. I'm not sure what that was.
Well, he's going from Arizona with Djax and Fitzgerald to Rojo and a bag of nails for receivers. So it's not going to be his game yet. So
Let me ask you guys this, and this was asked in the chat, and I think it was once again our executive producer who said this. Nope, just kidding. It was actually the commish #Deltron himself. Kind of a spinoff from the Mike Evans discussion, because he is someone that we were super excited about this year. Right now in Dynasty, who is your 101 as of today? And in the chat, I threw out CMC. CMC is probably my 101, and I'm not sure how close it is, but he's my 101. What say you guys?
Look at you reacting off week 1. What did he drop? 46. And Sammy's is 102. Come on, man.
He was my 101. He was my 101 before the season 2. I'm with you, J Mike. I think he's my 101.
Thank you, Dwight.
It's close. It's really
Gabe
close.
caught the baby right there.
Yeah, I think if you go him, Kamara, Zeke, Barkley, they're all, I think, a lot closer than. I think you can make a legitimate argument for me. CMC's number 1, but just I don't know. I trust that offense. I trust the team. I trust his skill set more. I think he's going to keep putting up the numbers that he's putting up. I think he's my 101, but it's close. I think you make a legitimate argument for several other.
He's a cheat code, man. At this point, how can if you're gonna catch 7 to 10 balls a week, is just on top of rushing the ball 15 to 20 times, it seems incredibly difficult to keep that going, just for your body's sake. And he played 100% of the snaps. It just seems hard to keep that going. But Austin Eckler is really good, man. Yeah, he had the second best week. So why aren't we talking about the wide receivers, Peter? Who's our 101 at wide receiver, Peter?
Are we talking Dynasty?
Yes.
Juju.
Oh. You just traded for him, right?
Yeah, apparently. Just grossly overpaid for him. But yeah. And it's a little premature, but that's the thing. You're not going to get the 101 unless you're willing to, overpay after they become it. And I try and get ahead of it. And running backs definitely have more value and more use. But the fact we're talking about maybe CMC right now, like a month after Saquon Barkley and everyone else is an idiot and they'll never change ever, maybe CMC. It's the problem with running backs, right? They struggle. They're so dependent on so many different things. They get injured at a slightly higher rate than wide receivers. So I tend to try and lead wide receiver anyway. But like I can't fault anyone going CMC or Barkley. I mean, that's just solid. But I think Juju could be the 101 pretty soon. And so if you think of him as that right now, then you might be able to get a little bit of a deal on him. No, unless you're me. And then you overpay.
I would go with Barkley. I mean, he's going to be the offense for the next 10, 15 years in New York. Daniel Jones is probably going to be starting by the end of this year, if not next year. So they're going to feed him the rock. And to make a little twist on it, even Patty Mahomes or eventually could be up there at number one. If he keeps slinging the rock like he is right now, if he puts up another close to any 5,050 again, then he could easily be the number one in Dynasty. You don't take quarterbacks early, but he could be that one quarterback you could throw away your theories on for that.
Do you think it might just be too long? Like, it's not age with running backs. It's just the violence they put themselves through for our entertainment. Like 3 years and people are already starting to get nervous if you haven't already seen an injury. And Saquon Barkley is clearly another level of everything. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really fair. But I worry, like, now our hopes rest on Daniel Jones. Like, I think if he's the 101 for me, if I'm taking him there, and I would, to be fair, then it's for this year. If you see what I mean? Like, I'm worried about stretching it out too far just because, man, it's a tough position to play,
Well, you can always cut bait. I mean, you get 3 or 4 years down and then cut bait, and then, but I guess built like I mean, you got to feel it out. Yeah, you feel it out, and just with any player. I mean, realistically, any player. Like same with Patty Mahomes,
right.
He's getting leveled every other week. So yeah, it's just the whole injury. Nice. Him and his $250,000 watch on his hand. Yeah, why not?
Yo, that's only one person that put that up. Y'all know everybody here. If you rock with us the open bar for any time between now and 2.5 years ago since we started this thing, one person put that on the screen. Period. And for those that are listening podcast form, we're laughing. The banner here on the live screen says OBJ 101. So Gabe, do you care to explain yourself, or do you feel like the $250,000 watch just solidifies everything for you?
I mean, you just said that I've been preaching that for 2.5 years. PA Howdy just got done saying that these running backs touch the ball a lot and that wide receivers have this thing called longevity. I mean, let's do the math here, fellas. Shall we take it to the whiteboard, the chalkboard, if we need to take it that far back? And for you, McGriff, all right, Deltron Deluxe here. Come on. I did it's fun to watch that Browns offense when things are moving and Rashard Higgins there to catch some balls that should be thrown to OBJ or Landry, but Higgins just happens to be open. No, Higgins is great. He's a good route runner and whatnot, but he didn't play a lot of snaps. I mean,
I'll take him over Dede.
Oh God.
Ooh, let's go, Shug. Let's go, Shug.
Anyway, sorry, Gabe. Cut you off. Keep going, Gabe.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what range of wide receivers that we're talking about with you, Shug. I mean,
I just want to score points.
Weird ADP wide receivers between 50 and 70. You're like, nope, fuck him, take him over Dede.
I said it once. I'll say it again. I just want to score the most points. So,
yeah, but with who? You're running Cody Latimer out there. Just be honest.
Yeah, Wide receiver
Y'all laugh.
78, Cody
Listen,
Latimer.
y'all laugh. Cody Latimer's about to get 10 targets this week.
He's gonna-
Y'all gonna rue the day. You will rue the day that you
I'll
made
be
fun of
back
Cody
next
Latimer.
week. I'll be back next week.
Yes. I'm gonna be welcoming you with open
That's-
arms too. I'm Suge, because I'm with you, Cody Latimer. Let's go.
That's your New York Giants, Legion of Zune right there. Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, and Cody Latimer.
Daniel Jones throwing the ball too. I mean, come on.
Got a little space for Byron Pringle, maybe a little Byron Pringle action on the bench there. Some DeMarcus Robinson. Could happen.
It could happen, JP.
Oh, God.
I feel like every open bar episode is just an attempt to try and get J-Mac to hysterically laugh. Like, and I think we've achieved that. So,
I do it every time I'm
It's
on.
inevitable, man. It's inevitable. Oh man, I needed that. It hurts. My body hurts so bad. It hurts so bad, but that just feels so good to my soul. It's good for my soul. Oh gosh, that's good.
Tyler,
That's so good.
we love you. I gotta make that clear, but this shit's too real. Is that
Hey,
a dirty
like
Jim talk? I'll take it over DD.
I saw that.
No joke. No joke. I would.
I will give you money to trade me.
Oh gosh, can we just real quick?
Hey, what happened to Keelan Cole while we're talking about Jacksonville?
Oh man,
He was
bad.
good, right? I'm not dreaming that. He was good. And
No, they kept
dead
Didi.
now?
That's what
Is he
happened.
dead? Oh, right. Okay.
he got buried. That was it, man. They kept drafting over him. They signed Conley over him. Who else is in front of him at this point? Oh, Marquise Lee still somewhere. Maybe hurt. I don't know. But he's at least fourth or fifth on the depth chart. Just golly.
Rough, man. They hate them. They hate them guys.
Hating indeed. The just real quick, as far as 101 talk goes, and again, we talk longevity, and obviously, Gabe, we're just gonna fight to the death, not to the death, just to the end of time, as it pertains to OBJ versus Nuke. But while OBJ was, doing things against the likes of Logan Ryan, speaking of gym teachers and cafeteria workers, Adoree Jackson and Malcolm Butler, my man Nuke was doing absolute damage work against Marshawn Lattimore. Is it Marshawn Lattimore? Is that his first name? Lattimore, whatever.
Let's go with
You got it. You got
Let's
it.
go with it.
I was thinking I was mixing him up with the running back from South Carolina. I think that was Marcus Lattimore, who got his leg turned like something disgusting. Golly, you talk about a guy who's really good in college. Sad injury. But my man Nuke was doing work in prime time against one of the NFL's best, they say, at corner. Are you ready to yield? Are you ready to bend the knee, if you will, Gabe? To say that Nuke is the superior wide receiver to OBJ, or are we just going to keep going with this?
Where the fuck is my band? Okay. Come on. He dropped like 3 passes last night, man.
He's bad now.
Hey, J Mike, I don't care really, because I don't like that argument a whole lot.
No.
Just because I think that it's a 1A 1B situation. Like the only reason that I would care is for me to be a hypocrite or something of the like. It's for this sake right here. But otherwise, I'm impartial. I think they're both really good players, and it's a 1A 1B. You can't lose.
I just try to paint you into a corner. That's all.
I know.
You see right through my ruse. And typically, Gabe, I think 2 years ago we did this, but we haven't done this in a while. And I know we didn't do it all last year, but 2 years ago we did this. The Thursday night game coming up, we would usually highlight it real quick before we left, and we talk about anything that we're looking forward to. We just got through talking about Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and company. They are traveling to Carolina, a group that we haven't touched on at all today. But they lost a tough one against the Rams, everybody's beloved Los Angeles Rams. Shout out to David Berger, good buddy of ours who reps the Rams. Bucks travel to Panthers. How do we feel about this game? Do we think Jameis Winston has any sort of bounce back in him whatsoever? Fellas, what do you think?
It's Thursday night. It's going to be a low-scoring game. They have been forever. CMC is probably the only one worth really watching for. That's all I got.
Just to throw this out there real quick, as I look at this slate, according to what I'm viewing currently, this game has the fourth highest over/under on the week, and it's at 49.5.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's Thursday night. I will say all generically, but most of them are like really low scoring. So I'm not really.
Yeah, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing at all. I'm just saying that apparently Vegas or somebody in Vegas, whomever has the authority to post this, saying Carolina's a 7-point favorite and the over/under is 49.5. So I'm just curious how the game shakes out. And I want to throw this out there real quick now. I think that it's about to get really disgusting for Jameis in this game because the Carolina pass rush, I think, will make him look real bad, really bad, really, really bad. So if you're playing a league with defenses, man, go get you some Carolina defense for real.
Yep, totally agree. It's not one I'm definitely not looking forward to watching. I will because it's a Thursday night game and I don't do anything else on Thursday nights, but it'll probably be pretty ugly. Like I'd be surprised if either team hit 20, and if Carolina would, I think, but I don't think Tampa Bay will. So it's going to be ugly. Yeah, and nothing else.
Everyone's beloved Curtis Samuel didn't quite cut the mustard this week. Maybe
Crazy,
he bounces back. I don't know, but
It's like they have a wide receiver one already. Two of them, in fact. One of them's a running back, but whatever.
Yeah, I saw a tweet somewhere out there about how upset people were that that Cam couldn't support, two top 24 wide receivers, a top 12 tight end, and a top running back, and himself be a top 5 QB. It's like,
why aren't all the top players Carolina players? This is ridiculous, Cam Newton. Get on it.
and Jameis too. Jameis, I think, was part of some other tweet along there. But man, the expectations.
Right.
Does anyone give the Buccaneers a shot to win this game? Period. One word answers. Gabe.
Yeah.
Should.
What's the spread?
No.
Oh, shot. Sorry.
Carolina's a 7-point favorite.
Yeah.
At home on a short week. Should.
No.
Dwight.
Sure.
Peter.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Look at you contrarians go. I love it.
Well, again, I don't think it's going to be pretty, and you're right about that pass rush, but Winston actually doesn't get those touchdowns called back a couple of times. We could get some variance, and I feel like Tyler's right about Thursday night games, but wasn't last year like a little weird? Like, weren't Thursday night games going off pretty regularly?
There was
Am I wrong about that?
It was hit or miss, but I think the majority of them are really, really low.
Yeah, in general, I just thought last year was a little, not that
There was
that
a couple
means
of them,
anything,
yeah, I think
but-
so, yeah.
I'm surprised by that over/under, J Mike.
Yeah, that's what got me
49.5. Like
a
that's
little tilted.
That's higher than the Dolphins Patriots.
But like J Mike said, scoring's up, so maybe Vegas just thinks scoring's going to be up a little bit this year. So maybe that'll look like a terrible line compared to the others. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if 49 is
Possibly
going to be 49's the new 27, whatever.
Yeah. I'm possibly a fish, but I would be all over that under if
Right.
some sort of.
Yeah, I think they're just
Man.
expecting the defenses to underperform, I guess, perhaps, but I don't know. Anywho, I think the one thing that I am excited to see is what does this next step of the Buccaneers offense look like? Because I think that we need more questions answered regarding can the offensive line be better? Can Mike Evans bounce back in a short week and be hopefully healthy and garner the targets that we hope? Will Chris Godwin continue to lead the way? Will OJ Howard continue to disappoint? Can Cameron Brate actually score a touchdown without it being called back by DeMar Dotson holding penalty? Friggin' jerk. And, I mean, it's awful. It's awful. I watched it. One of the cool things about it is Cameron Brate, while a lot of us don't really like him, just because we feel like to some degree kind of hold.
I do. I like him.
He okay, so that makes at least two of us. So Cameron Brate, like, he had this beautiful toe tap in the back of the end zone in the game, and it got called back because of the holding penalty. But and nobody's ever going to care anything about it because he's actually better than what we think, and Jameis has eyes for him. So, anywho, and for Carolina, as far as Carolina goes, can we see DJ Moore take another step forward, and can we see Cam Newton not be affected by a pass rush that doesn't scare you at all? And can he again show that hopefully he's healthy from that funny ankle that he was dealing with? Because he gave us single digits. I think in most of the leagues I had him in, he had like 6 points, which was super disappointing.
I had a Superflex league where I got a full 10 points from my quarterbacks this week, by the way. Like, maybe ever.
What was that, Cam and
Mitch Trubisky? It was rough. Marcus Mariota riding the bench like a hater, man. It was
like a hater.
Just staring up at me.
PA, howdy.
Right.
All right, boys. Anything else this night we want to hit on?
You want to touch on AB or anything?
Oh, God.
We'll just drop
Has
that.
everyone seen the latest
John
news
Bosch
story
of the
before they
group,
do?
don't we?
We don't have to. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, if you have anything you want to say on it, go for it. Go for it.
No, I'm good. I just didn't know. I cut out a little bit before we went on air and everything, so I don't know if we touched on it or not before. So
I was just
Other
going
than
to
the
throw it
fact
out
is
like a gramble.
yeah.
Watch you all fight over it.
I don't think anything needs or can be said, just because we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I will say
We have to sit and wait. It is.
I would say if this has legs, then I'm not going to be on the Thelma and Louise cliff anymore. I'm more than happy to walk away for this news story compared to the others. Like, I'm not going to be on the AB train if this one has legs. That's bad.
It's silly
Like I had lined.
because
Yeah.
by the time this thing comes out, he's going to have been released by the Patriots, signed in the CFL, and exported to Scotland or some shit. So, yeah.
What a roller coaster, man! What a roller coaster.
I know. I don't know if I'm trying to compare it to they've compared it to TO, and I don't even know if it's that.
No,
I think it's
this isn't.
Different.
far beyond that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, of course, this is
No,
far
no.
different.
I mean, overall.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. So condensed, man. It all happened at once. as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
Every week, something.
Mhm.
Do you think it was planned though, so you could get to New England though? Maybe it was working the system to get to New England, get out of Pittsburgh, and then
I honestly thought
other than tonight's news that dropped. Do you think the rest of it was just
that's the thing.
behind closed door type thing? I want to get out and get to New England.
Yes.
I thought he
Oh,
knew.
no,
I thought he knew
the
he'd
Bleacher
go to
Report
the Patriots long before we did, but yeah, this makes me think maybe I don't know. I don't even know. Shutting up.
Throw a hissy fit, and then I want to, I go where I want to.
When you consult with social media experts on how to get released, it was, yeah.
Well, none of us are going to do a better job at it than I've forgotten his name as soon as I tried to say it. Indianapolis Colts punter, radio star now.
Pat McAfee.
Right, go watch his video on what he thinks may have been going on. Like, none of us are going to beat that rendition. So that's basically the theory.
I mean, just in general, though, as far as players having the ability to kind of have a little bit more control in the game, I think is ultimately what's trying to be done. I mean, this is a conversation that could take hours to talk about, but I mean, I've talked to J Mike before, and I think we even talked about it on the show about NBA players, asking for trades and things and trying to gain control. And there is a lot of power in the NBA as far as what players have, but not so much in the NFL. The control is just not there. And same with the money. I mean, it's not near what the NBA is. So if I can see them trying to do that, and there are things like this, or even just holdouts in general, people were worried that Julio wasn't going to play week 1. I mean, there were a lot of other stories besides Antonio Brown that we had concerns about, just as far as like players moving around and players kind of getting what they want individually versus what some other team wants. They're trying to get the control out of these NFL owners' hands as much as they can. Ultimately, they can't. I mean, they can't really, but and they can't escape the media apparently, or some deep dark secret, whatever. So, but they're trying to gain back control. They're trying to gain back control.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd be all for it. Always root for people over companies myself, so that'd be fine by me.
Yeah.
Yep.
All I know is Saquon Barkley, not a running back this week. Just want to throw that out there. Not a running back in week 1.
Wow.
Suck it, haters. Take that, Brian Harr. Hardy the Martian. But anywho, that's
I'm at him right now, J Mike.
Not a bullet.
Damian Williams was. Just point that out.
Oh my God.
Malcolm Brown was too. Top 12 running back.
We didn't talk that. Yeah. All right, we're done. But that was weird. That was weird.
It's what we expected. We just didn't think it was going to be Malcolm Brown. And like everyone thought it was going to be
for Gurley,
else.
which was fine. The snaps were fine, but just the efficiency of Malcolm Brown on his limited snaps, I think, is going to have people tripping. I got a 2021st offer for Malcolm Brown today. It's like, come on, man, stop it.
He's probably going to get the red zone work, though, right? I mean, who are you going to want to smash into something? It's probably not your prize, Todd Gurley. You don't take your Ferrari into a bumper car race. You take your Malcolm Brown.
All right, metaphors.
Undrafted free agents mattering. Just putting that out.
Yeah, it's part of your profile.
It literally is.
Yeah, I know. I was just looking at it while I was tagging everyone in our description. And shall I use that as a segue, J Mike, to let these people out of here and say some things about themselves that may be in their profile or may not be?
I think this is why you are a professional podcaster.
I don't think that's true one bit, but we're here and we're family and it's a gosh darn good time. Yeah, this was great. A fabulous night for everyone here. I had fun, guys. It's fun. It just feels good to. I mean, we bullshit about no show sheet, but holy cow, is it easy when you've got 16 games of NFL between weeks of podcasting? You don't need no fucking show sheet. I'll tell you what. So, we will do a little bit of a roundtable here around the horn, whatever thing you want to say about yourself or myself or your mother or about an undrafted free agent. PA Howdy, we will start with you because you're a legend.
None of those things are true. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I would like to use my last words to say you should all go listen to the Dummy Blitz on the Dynasty Dummies feed. I listened to it on the way home from work today, and it was relaxing, especially for a guy who obviously doesn't watch football, because, that's for, like, big, strong, smart people, and I'm not any of those things. I just wait for the data to come in, and the Dummy Blitz was really good. It's really, really fun way to soak in all your NFL content. It's really all you need. So go check that out.
Nice.
Thank goodness. And I didn't have to say it
right
on the way out. You know he's not going to say it. You know he's.
I
not
thought
gonna
I'd
say
take
it.
the glory, frankly, because someone needs to, and J Mike doesn't, and it's really
Mhm.
good. It's a really good way of getting NFL content. It's entertaining.
I
it's
do
fun.
want to.
It's good.
I do kind of want to call out J Mike for that though, because it seems like he released his dummy blitz today. You know, we talked
Mhm.
about earlier, Sammy, John Ross, Rojo, they all had their days, and then he drops a podcast. You know, within 24 to 48 hours. Is that a coinkydink, J Mike, or is there something to do with that? Did you flex a little bit today? Or are we just gonna have to listen to find out?
Yeah, that's the case.
It was an awesome show.
On the
was.
Dynasty Dummies feed. Check it out. It's typically 15 minutes. This time we went into overtime. 16 games. It's a lot going on. So yeah, about 19 minutes long. So see what I had to say about it.
Wow, that's hard to, yeah, impressive. Blitz, baby. All right, on to the next. Dwight, the People's Champ.
Hey,
My guy, what have you got to say about yourself and other things that you're doing?
Oven mitts best.
Was that?
The oven mitts best.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at FF People's Champ, which is coined by this show. You guys gave me this awesome idea for a name, and now I've kind of run with it. Working on the Debbie Happy Hour every week with Commissioner McGriff and Ray Garvin. Ray GQ, who's just like one of the most brilliant college football guys I've ever met in my life. So a couple really good guys that kind of carry me through that and write some IDP stuff at DLF and just kind of just getting where I can get it, man. So happy to be on here. Thanks, guys. That's it.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Thank you, my friend. Some couple of like I said, we got vets, man. Pete's been on, close to the exec producer. Yo, Jake.
Somebody needs to come out of retirement there.
Yeah. Better watch your back, son. I think Pete's waiting for that baton. All right. But yeah, Dwight's been around too, and as well as our final guest that will kind of lead us out here with whatever you have to say. I was scared you weren't going to podcast with us, Tyler, so I'm happy you could make it out with us. What have you got to say to people?
Yeah, I was having some technical difficulty, but I got on, and thanks again for having me on for the third time. And you can catch me on Twitter at Tyler Belosky, and catch me live on Saturday nights or Sunday mornings, depending on how I feel that time, with my son Eli, with the Tyler and Eli Fantasy Football Tips podcast. And we're doing it live this year. Just going to be easier with my new work schedule. And for all those out there, just remember D.D. Westbrook and Dante Pettis are garbage, and Cody Latimer is the man.
Holy shit. What a brand to stand on.
Gotta respect it.
Thanks, guys.
Gotta respect.
Thank you, Tyler. Hey, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it live. Happy birthday.
Hey.
Happy birthday to your son.
Yeah, Eli, Big 12 today. Turned 12 and going strong. 4 years in the podcast business, and he's loving it.
Perfect.
His takes are way better than mine. So when you listen, agree with him.
So like he likes DD and stuff?
He likes Didi.
I don't think he likes Didi, but I think he likes Corey Davis a little bit better.
Oh, I like him. I like him even more than I did before, which is hard to do.
Yeah. He's a birthday boy today.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Eli from the open bar.
Hey.
Cheers with some Nesquik, something of the likes. J Mike, my dude, what have you got to say?
Man, what a pleasure. What an absolute pleasure it is for us to be able to continue to do this. I'm thankful for it. And this is a special group to me because we've had these guys on before, and just the conversation always flows when you typically have folks that you're comfortable with. And Dwight and I have been in the league together for, was it season number 3, Dwight? 3 or 4 for us?
I think so.
And I've been able to chop it up with Dwight in person on a couple of occasions, so he's like a brother to me at this point. Grateful for him. Suge's always fun to chop it up with, and another one of those nicknames from the show, Suge T. Holla at back when the Saints were needing somebody to play tight end, anybody.
That's right.
And Peter Howard, the Indomitable, another brother of mine. Thank you, Peter, for being able to join us this evening, man. It's always good to chop it up with you guys. To everybody in the chat, thank you guys for showing us love, for rocking with us this evening. We had a blast. It's always a fun time here at the Open Bar to be able to let your hair down or keep it up if you're Gabe, if you want to, whatever floats your
business tonight, baby. Come on.
whatever floats your boat. We just appreciate you all rocking with us. Obviously, if you checking us out on any of the podcast catchers of your choice, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, and yes, we'll be back to iTunes soon, everyone. Bear with us. We'll be there soon. But wherever you are, wherever you're listening, thank you. Share this with a friend. If you want to rate us or review us, if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'd appreciate that too. And one of the things that we don't shout out near enough, we've got some fun merch over at theopenbar.storeenvy.com. The classic open bar t-shirt, the girls clout cookies t-shirts. Come check us out. Get with us. We appreciate you guys again. Thank you so much for our guests, for the chat, for anybody rocking with us. It's your boy J Mike here at J Mike Check on Twitter, at JMIC Check. The show's handle is at the Open Bar Pod on Twitter. And my better half, Bun G Squared, hair up, hair down, don't care, everywhere, on Twitter at FFManBun. Gabe, take us home.
So good to be back. So good to be not podcasting from a bed. I dropped in to just say hello to the IDP guys.
I wake up just to get down.
That's some shit right there. I'm telling you. I love that. Whose kid was that? Dwight. You don't have to say him publicly, but they were.
That was awesome. Yeah,
singing, that was whatever. It was amazing, and I love.
I had to tag you on that. It was cool.
Yeah, love that. What J Mike is saying is singing rather is an intro of mine that is featured on Dwight's podcast, the Devi Happy Hour. Go and check that out. Yeah, I don't know, man. This was a good time. It's a good time. No complaints. Can't complain about things. The NFL is here. Just excited to, be wrong about things, be right about things, be overexcited about things, be underexcited about things. I don't know. We're just gonna let it play out and do the best that we can. We're just here to, I don't know, give it to y'all and let y'all discuss it. J Mike, I think that's it. Shoot, what else are we gonna say? Are we here next week? We're here. You've been working.
I've been.
This is week one, man. Week one, and he's like, we're booked to what? December? Is that right? We're booked through December.
Not quite. We can get through halfway to October though. So, and to anybody who would love to come and kick it with us for a bit on the Open Bar, reach out, man. Sometimes I'm not the best about reaching out to folks that I haven't necessarily done a ton of talking with previously, but happy to have you guys on. So if you would, holla at us. Reach out to my DMs. They are not open. We'd have to follow each other for that to happen, but you can always tweet at me or whatever. But anyway, yeah. And speaking of,
mine are open.
Well, games are open.
Come on in.
But speaking of, I'll wake up just to get down. Preview of next week's episode. What in the world?
Full circle.
I'm done.
Yes. Yes.
Man. No. Oh my gosh.
Hey man, I don't judge you. Be into what you're into. I'm just happy for you.
I'm never going to Austin. I'll tell you that.
It doesn't even
Oh, they do down there. It is bigger in Texas,
funny.
I guess.
You don't know what these
No,
shits
bro,
like in
no,
Texas, huh?
No, we've got to go. Oh my god.
You know a thing or two about Shaman, hmm? All right. If you don't get that joke, press rewind about 2 hours and you'll get it. We always come full circle. That's the grind. Shout out to Lebrec.
I shot you from across the room.
All right, let's. I don't think we have anything else to say. yeah, we said everything. We'll be here next week. Fuck. All right. Cheers up to the camera, my people, whether that's a pound, that is a drink, that is our people out there listening. If you're still chilling with us in the chat, cheers to you. Cheers to everyone. We will we'll see y'all next week, huh? Deuces.